So speaking next, we have our own City Council member, Darden Rice from District 4. Also, one quick announcement before Darden Rice comes on. If we have any speakers here who have not checked in yet, please come over to the red tent area. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm your chair of St. Pete City Council, Darden Rice, and it is great to see this crowd. I love seeing protest signs for evidence-based medicine. I know, and evidence-based data, I know that I am with my people. In 1978, there was a state house legislator that started talking to people about the need for a Tampa Bay regional center that offered not only better treatment for the thousands of people being diagnosed with cancer, but also a center that would do research to improve cancer treatment and even a cure. That legislator was Lee Moffitt. And like many of our scientific and research institutions, many of which we're standing amidst now, all of these scientific research institutions have a story that begins with a small number of people and visionaries who push past the resistance and skepticism and stay true to their vision and eventually create the institutions that we so value today that makes a difference in our lives. In 1986, Moffitt, partially with the money that we got from the cigarette tax and the lawsuit against the cigarette industry, Moffitt would open its doors in 1986 to its first patients. And today, Moffitt is one of the country's top cancer research centers, saving many lives, including my own. Now, some say it's dangerous to mix science with politics, but to say that is to naively ignore the role that bold, forward-thinking leadership provides that makes the support and creation of scientific institutions possible in the first place. It would be to ignore the importance and indeed the responsibility of elected leaders to use evidence-based science and peer-reviewed publications as the basis for sound public policy. And this is to respond to human needs and a better understanding of the fragile world we live in. So we should not let our elected officials off the hook when it comes to supporting scientific research, evidence-based medicine, and supporting peer-reviewed science. It is, after all, public taxpayer money, and this scientific research is one of the greatest justifications I can think of for the greater public good. So we need science to save lives in hospitals, in surgery rooms, and disease control centers. We need science to explain and defend policies that protect seagrass beds in Tampa Bay, our national estuary. And this is so Tampa Bay can function to support critical marine habitat, which is also human habitat. And clean water is critical for human health and our quality of life. It is through science that ultimately we can objectively measure 400 parts per million of carbon in the atmosphere. And that level has precipitously risen over the last few decades due to human activity and will continue to rise at an increasing rate. So science tells us what can happen with the climate as that rate increases. but it's your political leaders who set the tone and make the rules for what we do with that information. And we can take it seriously or we can ignore it. We can push aside the science, pretend that there are no costs associated with continuing business as usual, or we can be responsible. We can be solution-oriented. We can work towards clean energy solutions. Clean energy. Oh, there's another area where technology and science and investment and research and development makes a great grand entrance. Strong science is what makes our country great. We put a man on the moon when we put our minds to it. And that's why the cure for cancer is called the moonshot, because we are problem solvers at heart. And our scientific endeavors in pursuit of disease treatments and cures, cleaning our polluted environments, water quality, global ocean systems, space exploration, open data, all of that unites us in humanitarian efforts. And if that sounds too lofty, and I suspect it doesn't with this group, but if that sounds too lofty, let's remember our very own Lee Moffat. Let's remember what a legacy of forward-thinking political leadership and scientific leadership looks like that supports the value of scientific research and public service. Thank you.